Welcome, listeners, to the Plack and Jack podcast. I'm your host, Jack, and I'm here with my co-host, Plack. Plack, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you? You just butchered the podcast show name, but yeah,
Oh,
I'm
did I
doing all
really?
right.
Oh,
It's the Jack and Black show. Come on, man. This is on SBA
you know
Network.
what? Plack before Jack sometimes, okay?
Dude, yeah, but we gotta watch out. Our bosses might fire us. Come on now.
True.
Anyways, we have a great show getting started. We're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to run through a couple segments. The first segment is going to be 10 questions, hence the name change. We just want to do 10. We'll talk about the expansion draft with the Wichita Wonderwolves and the Sao Paulo Parrots, and then we'll go into the season 4 draft and projections. But do you want to announce who's joining us today, Jack?
Oh, yeah, we have two lovely managers joining us today. The first off, we'll go with Lyle, the GM of the Snow Geese, and season 1 homie. And Lyle, how are you today?
I am well.
Well.
Excited to be here and talk about the league with you guys.
Oh yeah. Always pumped. Always pumped. And our other GM coming in today, you know, the first placed GM of the year vote getter, Derek, who is a GM of Parrots. How are you today, Derek?
I'm feeling good. I'm happy to be here. I'm excited.
Fair enough.
Eric, we need the take of the week from you. What's the take of the week? Make it spicy.
No.
Pepsi's better than Coke.
Okay,
Ooh.
What a take. Lyle, do you agree or no?
It depends on the form.
Mm.
Because in my eyes, the hierarchy of Coke goes bottled at the bottom, can in the middle, and then fountain at the top. But
Okay.
I think bottled Pepsi is better than bottled Coke.
Okay.
And just to throw a little seasoning on top, sparkling water is better than both.
All right. Well, that's where we'll just move on here.
All right.
Yeah.
Joe, come get your mans, bro. Come get your mans.
Does like bubbly? Doesn't
Anyways,
it just like feel weird in your mouth, like bubbly water? I don't know.
It tastes good, so
the bubbles taste
what
good.
do you want me to say?
I don't know.
I prefer my water flat. Thank you very much.
Yes, agreed.
So you open up a can of sparkling water and you let it sit on the desk for overnight,
No,
and then it's good.
Nothing like carbonated water. Oh god.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, we might as well go into our first segment, which is going to be lovely 10 questions. Jack and I will ask y'all questions. Jack, do you have your questions prepared?
Oh yeah, you know I have them prepared.
Okay. Well, all right, we'll ask this one. What would be the absolute worst name to ever give your child, for both Derek and Lyle?
What?
Yeah.
What would be the worst name ever to give a child?
The name that always comes to mind that I just absolutely despise for whatever reason is Hunter. I don't know what it is, but that name just I don't like it.
Hunter Dozier, take notes.
Probably Jack.
Jack.
True.
All right.
Hey, that's true. Both of you are wrong because neither was Kevin, but we won't get into that.
It's not even short for anything, Jack's just a blank name. One syllable,
I don't know.
Jack. Ew.
Well, Derek, don't you know that's actually not my real name? So
Oh, your real name's even worse.
You never know. All right, I guess I'll move on to my question here. Question number 2. How I asked M to ask this too, and I'll let Lyle and Derek also answer this one. How were you introduced into the Stratomatic Baseball Association?
For me, it was the from MLN in the server. I'm on the Crawdads, and 3 of the people on the team um, all are in the league, and I them talking about it so much, so I joined one day. And then in the middle of the season, in season 3, Kalen asked me to step up and help him co-GM. He got busy with some real life stuff, and yeah, that's how I got started.
Noise. What about you, Lyle?
Yeah, so I was actually part of the OG people who joined even the server. I think I played the very first game with Cal. Um, but I actually found it in MLN Main in the Game House channel. It was just there. I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. Let me see what this is about. And few years later, I'm still playing this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all have fallen in love with Strat here. I mean, sometimes we do hate it, but
Oh, it's always
sometimes
fun
it
streaming
produces
at
the best
Domo.
memories.
Yeah. Don't.
Yeah. Well, good answers. Good answers. We'll move on to question 3. If you were wrongfully put into an insane asylum, how would you convince them that you're actually sane and not just pretending to be sane?
See, this is a tough
I
one because everyone. Oh, go ahead.
I fully believe I should be in an insane asylum, but that's
Yeah, no, it's going to be a tough one because everyone, for me, sort of kind of already thinks that I should be in one, but I know that I'm sane. So I think that I shouldn't be in one, but I'm pretty sure that most other people think I should be.
yeah. The only way to um, prove that you are sane is to understand what people consider insane, and
Exactly.
so I guess you just have to never repeat something because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So you just gotta change things up, I guess. I don't know. That's it's hard to prove you're
Lyle's
sane.
hitting us with the wisdom.
True. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
And we all know that Derek's traits are that you see that on Reputation. He would get the cuffs
People on.
immediately. Anywho, going into my next question here, what player got you to fall in love with the game of baseball?
This one's pretty easy for me. By far and away, it was Mariano Rivera. I'm a big Yankees fan, and I just the way that I didn't have to really worry ever. Just watching him throw one pitch out there every night in the 9th inning, and barely anyone could touch it. I mean, he was the best at his position. I mean, I'll fight anyone on that. Uh, but Mariano Rivera and more recently sort of kind of got me back in. Probably Aaron Judge.
Good pick. Yeah. Have you read the autobiography by Mariano Rivera?
I have. I've listened to it. It's really good. The closer. Yeah.
It's good.
Very interesting story. Yeah.
What about you,
I
Lyle?
can't argue that. I can't argue that Mariano Rivera is probably the best closer of the past however many years, if not of all time. And the Twins even gifted Mariano as a retirement gift a rocking chair made out of bats he shattered.
I saw that.
So
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. But the player that I always loved growing up was Johan Santana. He was just this funky left-hander. Um, he was just absolutely amazing. He won Cy Young in 06, and it was just every time he was on the mound, you knew that the team had a chance to win, and this was back when the Twins were actually kind of decent. And that's also when the whole however many playoff games lost streak began. And I
who knows? 18
yeah.
or something like that.
It's a lot to hear.
No one needs to know that exact number here. I think we're fine.
I mean, the Cubs win 100 and the Cubs
Sure,
win 100.
no numbers are just numbers, Lyle.
But yeah, Johan Santana was always just great, and I always grew up a lefty, and it was always weird, going through like youth ball and stuff, just because coaches didn't know what to do because they had never really dealt with a left-hander. They always tried to switch me on different sides of the plate, and I'm like, no, I bat this way or whatever. And like, it was really sad to see his career end the way that it did. He was riddled with injuries, and I believe that if he had stayed healthy, he definitely would have been in the Hall of Fame by now.
I could agree with that.
Yeah.
The
All
Hall
right,
of very
well,
good.
Exactly. I mean, the Hall is getting a little. I won't state my opinions on the Hall. Anyways, how many chickens would it take to kill an elephant? What, in y'all's opinions?
I'm loving these questions tonight, Plack. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
I'd say it would take just one, because all you have to do is spook the elephant, and then just let nature take it. Just let it come down to earth. What goes up must come down. Gravity will take down the elephant.
Yeah, see, but I was thinking it's maybe 1, 2, but like maybe because the elephant's allergic to chickens. But in a real answer, it would probably take, I'd say, in the hundreds, 2 to 3 maybe, if they're all going at it. But I mean,
Okay.
if they can get on the elephant's back, then maybe. But y'all ever seen an elephant before?
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen these creatures.
Yeah,
They're very big.
Pretty big dude.
I have.
I mean, all you have to do is surround it. They can't do much.
It's very big though, and chickens are, I'd say, not big comparatively.
Yeah.
Small would be the term. I guess.
They're
Tiny.
smaller than an elephant.
Tiny would be determined compared to the
It's a hot
elephant.
take right there.
Yeah, true. Look it up. I guess I'll
Anyways,
go into my next question here. I know, Derek, you've only had about half a season under your belt. I guess this would lean more towards Lyle, but you also could answer. What you have, you go through so many cards and over the seasons, and the 3 different sets we've had. I guess 3, including this season. What was one of the more reliant guys that you've had that card shouldn't have done as well as it did?
Season 2 Casey Sadler.
Mm.
That card was not as good as it should have played, and that thing played cracked. That and Season 1 Brandon Belt, which was the 2018 version of Brandon Belt. That card was absolutely cracked.
Wasn't he hitting
up
like
there for the batting
320? Yeah, or 330 or some crap like that?
He was fighting for the batting title
Jeez.
at the time. It was insane.
Jeez. What about you, Derek? Who was your?
I haven't really had time to fall in love with cards yet, since this is the first team that I've drafted. I mean, there were players on the Wombats that, like,
Brian Hayes.
I don't know that any. Well, he's not on the Wombats. That's for one. But there were players. There's players on the Wombats that I look back on very fondly. Obviously, one overperformer of the year. What's his name? Shoot.
Oh God! Come on, Derek.
Yeah, Kyle Hendricks. Dude, I'm sorry. I'm so thinking about all of my new. It's my new toys.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
But Kyle Hendricks, always a heart spot in my heart, and Nick Ahmed did good for me. But other than that, and I didn't have too much time to fall in love with him. I think I joined with like 10 weeks to go in the season.
Nice.
This is question 7 or 9. Do any of y'all know?
This is
I've done a
number.
good
I've not been
job.
keeping track.
We'll say it's number
Yeah,
9.
this
Yeah,
is the
number
Jack
9.
and
Yeah,
Plack
All right,
show.
all
Come
right,
on.
all right.
yeah. Number 9.
All right, here we go. Who is your biggest rival in SBA and why?
That's really hard.
It's a tough one.
I wanna say Reed just because we've played 2 season openers against each other, and it's always like been just a back and forth. Like I think we're pretty even in a season series between us. Yeah, I've been in the same division with the same people for however many seasons now. So I think we all have this outstanding rivalry with each other, but I think just because I started playing against Reed, that is, I guess, my quote unquote rival.
All right, Derek.
There's a lot of people who I enjoy playing, and I especially enjoy beating. I don't think that there's a person in the league that I enjoy beating more than Ryan. Ryan he's the person who I opened up my series against, and I can't wait for we play the Angels week 2 again, and I can't wait. Ryan, seemingly always at my neck, like most of the league, but Ryan especially, and I can't wait to beat him week 2.
Yeah. Nice. All right, I guess I'll.
And the last question, Jack.
This is. I guess this was kind of a tough one here. I guess I'll just go with this one here. What are y'all's thoughts on the necessity of lawn gnomes? I know
So
it's a
you
pretty
think
serious question.
they're a necessity?
Well, no, that's what
Jack?
I'm like. Do you think they're a necessity? You know, think about it. Like, if you think about a garden, what's in it? You know.
Plants?
Well, yeah, but there's always one of those little gnomes.
There's not always one of those
Think
little
about
gnomes.
it. Think about it. No, you can't tell me that you have not.
No,
seen
I'm
them
thinking.
high. Yeah.
I look outside. I see my garden. It has no gnome.
No.
It's out. It's hiding. That's got to be it.
This is
I'll
true.
drive all the way to your
They're
house,
everywhere.
Lyle, and put a gnome in it, and then ask you this question again.
Honestly, I would be very impressed if you could do that, because there's no way you are getting anywhere near this place with that vehicle of yours.
No, it's fine. Marge is doing the best that she can do under
You'll
her
barely
circumstance.
get out of Virginia there, bud.
You think I get out of Virginia?
All right. Well, that was our segment of 10 questions. I hope you all enjoyed. We are actually going to run through the expansion draft. We'll go through all the picks. I guess I will do round, and then someone pick up round 2. Then we'll go over the article that the Tokyo Kaiju posted, and we'll run through our own personal thoughts. So, with round 1, the Sao Paulo Parrots selected Corey Seager, and then the Wichita Wonderwolves selected Francisco Lindor.
Sure. Next round, the Wonderwolves took Garrett Cole, and the Parrots took Yu Darvish, a pitching round.
Yes, pitching. And then we went back to the next round here. The Parrots selected Lorenzo King, and to complement the outfield pick, the Wonderwolves selected Jackie Bradley Jr.
There's a bit of a trend here.
Yeah.
Round 4, the Wonderwolves selected left-hander Dallas Keuchel, or Keuchel, as Plack likes to say. And then,
Whoa! Exposed.
And then the Parrots selected Julio Urias, another left-handed pitcher.
Wow, I do see a trend here. Luckily, in the next round, the trend breaks as the Sao Paulo Parrots selected the outfielder Kevin Pillar, And the Wichita Wonderwolves selected their third pitcher in Marco Gonzalez.
And the last round, the Wonderwolves took Whit Merrifield, and the Parrots decided to end their draft there.
Yeah, so pretty much the expansion draft was pretty much up to 7 rounds. Both teams elected to go underneath their 7-round limit, with the Wichita Wonderwolves selecting 6 players and the Sao Paulo Parrots selecting 5 players. If y'all want, we can start running through the Tokyo Kaiju's grades, and we can give our own personal grades to the pick as well. So, Jack, why don't you start us off with the Corey Seager pick?
All right. Well, the Corey Seager pick, the Kaiju had had 4 grades for each player. They gave it the current card value, the value that the war had, kind of like a salary, and then the long-term outlook, and then the value where that pick was made in that round. So, looking at the Corey Seager pick, they gave the Parrots an A for current card value, an A for total war value, an A plus for an A minus for long term outlook, and an A plus for the round value. And
What's everyone's grades on this pick?
We love Corey Seager. We have a pretty hefty lefty slugging lineup. So taking a real righty killer like Seager, we love him. The defense is shaky, but for the offense that we were getting, we were willing to sacrifice there.
Yeah, kind of my thoughts is the worst grade given was the long-term outlook. Seager is only 26, and he's been playing in the majors for a fair few seasons now. He made his debut in 2015. So the kid's got some talent. I definitely could see Seager being that, essentially the Parrots like the Mookie Betts for them. It's that one franchise player that you just always have on your team, because he's really starting to hit a peak, and he's only really going to get better from here, especially after this breakout season. And the card is awesome if you just ignore the defense.
Which may be a little bit of a trend when you look at the Parrots team.
Minus that guy over at third base,
Pretty good.
We'll get to him.
Yeah. Pretty
we'll
good, yeah. But yeah, pretty much just vocalizing the same thing that Lyle and Derek were saying. Really one of the top bats in this new set. Corey Seager's going to be around for a long time. He's going to be good for a very long time. So yeah, I agree with the kind of all around good pick for the first overall pick in expansion.
Yeah, and also I love this pick. I'd give it an A, just like the Kaiju did. The future outlook and everything about this card is perfect for a franchise starter. Well, we will move on to the second pick. The second pick was Francisco Lindor. The Kaiju, they did not like this pick. They gave the current card value a C, the WAR A value a B plus, the long term outlook an A plus, but the round value a D. I totally understand it. I have reviewed my own draft plans, being the GM of the Wichita Wonderwolves, and I probably should have went with a Cole Darvish outlook here. But instead, I really wanted the defensive anchor, Francisco Lindor. So, what would y'all grade this pick?
Well, I'll step in as the other expansion team. We were heavily thinking Lindor as well. The defense was obviously great to look at, and the speed that you get there is also incredible. Same thing with the Kaiju saying about the long-term outlook, but we thought that the bat just wasn't up to snuff. We like Lindor. We considered taking him with our 1 overall, but at the end we decided we wanted a little bit more pop with our first pick.
Yeah, like Lindor is definitely going to be a cornerstone for you at shortstop, and with his move to New York, he has a lot more protection in that lineup. So I feel like he's really gonna bust out in 2021. But yeah, the only thing that really kind of deters this is the fact that the team in front of you did take a short stop. The only way I could see them even considering Lindor is if they were thinking about DHing Corey Seager, which is very possible, especially with that defense. But this pick probably could have waited, but it was still like a pretty good pick, and I think the Kaiju are just a little bit salty that they lost Lindor right away.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Lindor, the 1E3 is literally one of the better defensive ratings in the whole set. The bat is, the bat's kind of just okay, but the long term outlook with Lindor into, like Lyle was saying, the Mets lineup is going to be huge for him, and I expect the card to be better. But yeah, overall I think it was a solid selection. Like Lyle said, you probably could have waited another pick to take it, but it's still a really good pick.
Yep. All right, moving on. I also picked back-to-back in the snake draft Garrett Cole. The Kaiju rated it as a current card A+, the war value as a C, long-term outlook as an A, and round value as a B+. I personally liked it. I thought Garrett Cole, maybe other than you, Darvish, but in terms of my park, I liked Garrett Cole in terms of like the for sure outs that he'll probably get me over the season. But he has that ace potential, and I do think that Cole will be up for a possible Cy Young this year if he performs.
Yeah, and you're playing with a really tough division too. One that definitely hampers Cole's abilities just because there is a lot. It's pretty much a dinger happy card is kind of how it is. And that's pretty much all he gives up. And so you just have to understand that you might give up a few runs, but unless they're rolling other things on their cards, it's not going to be many runs. It might just be a couple solo shots. But it still is scary, but it's still a really great card in the right circumstances. Like, the man posted under a 3 ERA, but the home runs, it was just all home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a 1.7 home runs per 9 in 2020 with the 2.84 ERA. So
yeah,
and this is a guy who strikes, and his strikeouts were down a little bit, and so it could just
Yep.
be the new location of his playing in Yankee Stadium and dealing with different factors and stuff like that, because it's an open air stadium all year round, and so that could affect it. So, but he's still an amazing pitcher and will definitely be really valuable down the line.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I hope Derek agrees.
Yes, Yankees fan might be coming out of it. Love Cole. We thought about Cole, but our park is a lot more home run happy, and the home run split against lefties on the 7 just made us a little too worried to go for him. But we were happy that he went, so that we didn't have to debate about taking him. Because he's that good. He's that good to consider. I mean, sure, his card might not be the best, but the long-term value of having a Garrett Cole on your team is unquestionable.
Oh yeah, and I think we'll see what this card is. The ERA might be a little up, but the whip will probably be one of the best in the league, just because he literally, like Lyle was saying earlier, just strikes out or gives up a home run. So it'll be it was a good pick. And Garrett Cole, you can say what you say about pitchers going into Yankee Stadium and seeing what that does to their career, but I think Garrett Cole is just too good for that to loom over him as a player. So I like the pick a lot, especially in Wichita's park. And moving on here to this is a Parrots' second selection of the expansion draft. Yu Darvish. We had the Kaiju gave the pair, it's an A- for current card, an A- for war value, a B+ for long-term outlook, and an A for round value. So I'll let Derek, if you want to start us off here, as this was your selection.
Oh man, we were very happy that Darvish fell.
You screamed.
Yeah, we did say a couple let's goes. That's for sure. I mean, his card is incredible. No home runs on it. Actually, there might be one low down, but I don't have the card in front of me. It's very good. No home runs. I was right. But I mean, that is a flat out ace. That we love that card. I mean, the only thing that you can ding about it is maybe the sevens, but I mean, pitching this year is tough to come by. And I mean, that's why some of the teams, little sneak peek, have decided to really screw with the traditional thought of pitching in the league. But we just love you, Darvish. That card is electric.
Lyle, your thoughts?
Yeah, Darvish is an absolute ace. I was really like, if Darvish was on any other team besides the Questons, Darvish would have been protected. But just because that team was so deep, it left him available, and it's a gosh darn deal, I tell you. It's ridiculous. The one it's decently low slugging. It's just the one nasty little 7 split there on 5/7. That's probably the only part that's really gonna bite you long term. But this is definitely the best looking and will hopefully be the best performing Yu Darvish card we've had. Just because he's sitting at a career 7.44 ERA.
You
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's not going to be stolen on as much as he normally would, just because he's going from, I believe he had a +9 hold last season to now being a +1. So it's an outstanding pick. Definitely, in my eyes, was the first overall pick in my mind. Like, if I had the first pick, I was taking Darvish just to cement that spot.
Mm-hmm. That was definitely around, but the thoughts of Corey Seager's long-term value and the fear that Plack would take someone from the Birds of War, thought that we should go with someone we really loved first from Seager, and we thought that there was other good pitching in the expansion draft, ones that we were willing to take. So we decided to take the risk, and we're very happy that it paid off.
Yeah, I was heavily contemplating Harper at 3, to be honest, if Lindor was taken. So
yeah.
Anyways, we are running a little bit short on time. So if we want to, we'll just run through the Kaiju's draft grades. If Lyle take Lorenzo Kane, or Derek wants to take Lorenzo Kane, Lyle with Jackie Bradley, and then we'll go on down.
Sure, Lorenzo Kane. The card is interesting, to say the least. You think of Lorenzo Kane, you think of fast, and he is not that. This year, he can't steal because he didn't do that in his only couple games he played. The Kaiju gave him current card is an A+, war value is an A, long-term outlook is a B, and round value is an A+. The man's going to get on base, and that's all you can really say.
Yeah, number 6, we had Wonder Rolls taking Jackie Bradley Jr. To me, this just felt like a jerk reaction. The Kaiju definitely felt that way too, with the current card being a B-, war value at a D, long-term outlook a C-, and a round value at a D. The only thing that I can really see kind of saving this is the fact that center field 1 is a very important thing to have, and it's very light this year, especially. But if it almost feels like it could have waited a little bit, but I understand it was probably kind of a scared reaction from you, Plack, to kind of grab it while you could.
Yeah, With the number 7 pick, I picked Dallas Keuchel, as everyone likes to joke about. I know it's Keuchel. I called him Keuchel accidentally because I had maybe a beer or two. Um, anyways, the current card, the Kaiju gave him a C. The war value was a D. The long-term outlook was a C plus, and the round value was a B. So, yeah.
And up next was the Parrots picking Julio Urias, current card of B, ward value A plus, long term outlook B, and a round value C. And the round
All right, the next pick.
Oh no, go ahead.
Yeah. So the next pick is Kevin Pillar, which card we fell in love with, taken by the Parrots. Current card is a B minus, war value is a B, long term outlook is a C, and the round value is a C.
I hate you for this pick. we had our top 4 set, and obviously we made a trade after the expansion draft, but we definitely were considering Pilar as kind of that 5th player. But we have La Pantera, so can't be disappointed at that.
Your outfield's real good, but we fell in love looking at that card.
It's definitely
it is random too.
Kevin Pillar's of the past, I tell you that.
Sure. Yeah, we have none of us have an attachment. What is that? An attachment to Kevin Pillar. But we saw the card and for the cost for what we were getting, another good defender in a otherwise 3 and above sort of kind of team. We really liked him, especially in the 7th round.
Yeah. And with the next pick, the Wonder Wolves took Marco Gonzalez. This was an absolute lovely pick. Current card value was given as an A, war value an A, long-term outlook a B, and a round value A plus for giving up a 7th round pick for one of the best left-handed pitchers in the draft, and at such a low war cost, and the only -6 hold in the entire set. This was an absolute steal of a pick there.
Yep. After that, I decided to take Whit Merrifield. I took him for a lot of his versatility and being in right field with the -2 arm, shutting down. The Kaiju gave it a C plus, the WAR value as an A, the long-term outlook as a D, the round value as a D. I mean, I know Whit is currently 31, but the man still does steal some bases every now and then. He will get tons of hits, but one might be a bomb here and there. But yeah, Whit just slaps the ball all over the field. So I kind of like him for the next, the set when we go to the next one. But yeah, overall, the Kaiju rated the expansion draft for the Parrots with current cards an A minus, war value an A, and long-term outlook a B. And the Kaiju were a little bit more harsher on the Wichita Wonderwolves, giving them a C plus for current cards, a C for war value, and the long-term outlook of a C minus. And that is probably because we kicked them out of the playoffs last year when I was a Titans manager. So they probably have a little hunch from that one as well. But we are going to move on to the season 4 draft where everyone got to participate in the fun. We can roll with the Beast of the East, and we'll each talk about our top 3 players and our opinions. But we'll just roll through some of the 3 best players on each team. Jack whoever wants to start with the Birds of War, they can.
Yeah, I'll start off with them, cast. I think keeper-wise, they had probably one of the top 7, or not top 7, but their top 7 keepers were really, really very good. And they also complemented those guys with some really good picks. Their top 3 players for me are probably going to have to be DeGrom, Machado, and this one's tough. Probably Clayton Kershaw. His rotation is going to be ridiculous this season, so it will be a fun team to watch, to say the least.
Yeah, agree.
All right.
I mean, Bryce Harper
Yep.
might sneak into that conversation, but I think you picked the top three pretty good. I'd say the pick. I mean, for the long term, I think keeping Mookie Betts is the right idea.
Mhm.
But his card has a little bit to be desired this year, especially for 8 WAR.
Agreed.
I think that is the only not bad pick. I think that it was a good decision to keep him
Mhm.
because it's Mookie Betts.
Yeah.
But 8 WAR is a lot for
Yeah.
someone who is pretty bad against one side of the plate.
Mhm.
Obligatory wait, there's a cap.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to take care of the Black Bears, two-time back-to-back champion Cal?
Bruce.
You don't have to say that. You don't have to
Yeah.
stoke
Yeah,
it.
why did you? That wasn't meant to be said out loud.
I'll go
Sorry.
over them. So the defending champion Black Bears, their team is pretty balanced. It does feel a little top heavy in some positions, but they definitely also have really good future outlook. Probably their obvious top three is Ronald Acuna Jr., who's going to be, I would hope, playing right field.
He is playing right field.
Yes, I don't even know. Oh yeah, because they have Bellinger playing center, but they're Denilson Lamet, who had a breakout season in the majors in 2020, absolutely electric card compared to what his card used to be, and then Trey Turner, who is just an absolute elite shortstop.
And a
It's
fellow national.
yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, but definitely has a lot of future value in guys like Bellinger, Rousseau. Real Muto could have a bounce back season. Eloy Jimenez as well. So those, it's definitely a scary team, but I don't think it's as scary as the past couple of seasons. I am digging my own grave by saying that.
Here we go.
I know, we say
Great.
that.
Now he's going to get 3 times in a row
Yeah.
saying that. It's great.
The evil Cardinal magic is going to
Oh
kick
my
in,
gosh.
and we're all screwed.
I'd have to agree with you. The top 3, those definitely would be mine.
Yeah. I guess I will take care of the Val's team, the South Burlington Black Diamonds. I mean, I think this team from top to bottom, it might be, with Val's Park, the best team on paper. A couple key players, John Means. I think, you know, the bullpen of Brad Hand, Lucas Sims, Liam Hendricks. I think you can name a lot of people. In terms of my top three and future outlook, I'd probably give Zach Davies. Raimel Tapia might be good in Colorado, especially in that hitter's park. And I think Yohan Moncada has to be their number one. But we'll see what Guillermo has in the 2021 season, especially given probably the expanded role of playing second base. So, yeah.
Alright. Moving on now to, and I'm gonna steal the flamingos from you, Derek. So it's,
Oh, darn. I wanted to roast you.
my
Don't
team.
talk about me.
So, obviously, draft capital situation, less than ideal. But looking
Putting it
at
nicely.
putting it nicely, yeah, exactly. The whole middle part rounds, 9 through like 12, or 9 through like 13, just missing, wasn't
14.
I had a 14th rounder, but 9
You
through.
did? Oh, wow.
He traded in. Yeah, he traded in.
But I would say my top 3 players are probably Tanner Houck, because it's, Tanner Houck. I'd probably go Kim, and if I really had to choose a third, because I'd probably go Gio Urshela. But
I'd probably throw Castro in there.
Oh, Castro. Oh, I completely forgot about
Yeah.
Castro. Yeah.
Yeah,
Castro's
Willie
pretty good there.
Castro is pretty goated this year.
for that
And-
war value.
And have you seen his spring so far? You never know.
See, I would hope you'd say Tanner Houck is one of your top players, considering you're paying 12 war for this man.
Yeah. I'm gonna get every time someone stores a run on him, I'm gonna be like throwing my computer across the room, type
Oh,
beat.
I like what you say. I'm going to keep you to that. I better hear that.
I'm paying 12 more.
Go more for this card.
I did just give up a 2-run home run. It's fine. Anyway,
Alright.
Derek, you want to talk
Derek.
about the?
I'll take the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this team. Their starting pitching is kind of insane. I will bring up again the fact that I hate that Walker Buehler's card is only 1.37 WAR. That's probably one of my biggest pet peeves with the whole season because Walker Buehler, his card is so good that for so cheap. I like the team. I think that his strength is really pitching. With the rotation of Ryu, Giolito, and Bueller, that's a electric rotation. That is really good. Starts to teeter off a little at the end with like Devi Garcia. I wasn't really in love with that pick. He gives up a lot of home runs against righties. But is Devi Garcia, so that future outlook.
Okay.
But I think that I there's a lot, and Fishman good, I guess, is also obligatory there.
Sure.
But other than that, I like this team a lot.
Yeah.
Also,
All right,
Fishman
on.
for 4.34 is kind of, a steal as well,
Stupid.
in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to take the Kaiju?
I'll talk about them. Is there a team that exists? So Kaiju definitely played things a little bit different than how I thought they would. They also made a couple of minor draft mistakes, which is sad. But I think they definitely have a solid base of players in all positions right now. Their ace being Shane Bieber is really nice, especially after the year he put out. He's definitely a Cy Young contender. Juan Soto is a superstar. He's definitely going to win an MVP here soon. And then Paul Goldschmidt, who had a bounce back season for the Cardinals, and his card is cracked. Those are probably their top three. Looked for them to rely on for future guys like Bobby Dahlbeck, Trip Story to have a nice bounce back season, Luis Castillo to continue to be really good, and their team is a bit wonky in its construction. Their bullpen is definitely a little bit lacking in some spots, but I think they're set up pretty well considering the rest of the division.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I feel like they have a lot of long guys like Swinman in their bullpen, but with the year it's kind of hard to find, or especially early on in the draft, there's a lot of bullpen picks, so it's just one of the. It's definitely a different look, but there's a lot of teams with all new looks, So it'll be interesting to see how Kaiju do this season with their three-headed monster of Goldschmidt, Soto, and Bieber.
I think you have to throw in for value. I think you have to throw in Ramon Urias. I'm bad at names, just like Jack, but that card again for 2 wars. He hits ball.
He does. He does do that. Probably. Don't let him touch the field, but the man will, rip the seam off the baseball.
For sure.
All right, Jack, why don't you carry over to the Dallas Drillers?
Oh boy. All right. Well, Kalen's, second season in SVA, looked at the team, and his keeper situation was basically highlighted by his having three really good starting pitchers in Dylan Bundy, Kyle Hendricks, and Lance Lynn. And I would probably have those guys. I'll probably go Dylan Bundy, Kyle Hendricks as his two best starters, and I'll actually go with a bullpen arm here and say that Richard Rodriguez is probably one of his better players now too, just for purely the war cost and how amazing that card is. I definitely think that card will be in reliever of the year contention with some of the top guys and top names.
Yeah, really good. Great closer.
All right. Well, I will go to Los Muertos de Monterrey. Sorry, I can't roll my R's that well. Clearly, you have the one top guy right there with Fernando Tatis Jr. But I also like Dom Smith card. Dom Smith had a tremendous 2020 with the Mets. And then I will probably go with, there's probably I'll go bullpen as well. And Erasmo Ramirez. Is it Erasmo? Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
That's right.
That sounds right.
Sounds right.
All right. Yeah. All right. I will probably go even with the 2.73, finding a closing pitcher and someone who just throws the ball well is perfect for relief 3. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that Selgers is better. I love that card.
Yeah.
But I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Those are clearly his top two guys.
And
the followers, I believe, with his wonky whatever he's doing with pitching.
Yeah, I was about to say he's definitely going to have a kind of different rotation, but it should be very good seeing the bullpen arms he has with Gosman, Erasmo, Weisler, Perez, Merriweather starting. It'll be interesting, especially and with him having one of the two homer heavy catchers and Tyler Stephenson as well.
Yeah, don't like that in the division.
Yeah. Ballpark home run on a 7. Fox is like hiding in a corner somewhere.
Anyways, Derek, let's take it to your team now.
You want me to handle the Parrots?
Yeah. Why not?
We I think that our top 3, I'd probably say Cabrian, Darvish, and Seager. That man at third base we were talking about before, the most expensive position player this year. Cabrian Hayes, his card is I think it's considered good. We really like it. Changed up our draft strategy last minute. Maybe shows in the second round pick. But honestly, we're going to bury that and not think about that. But we are very happy to have Cabrian Hayes on the team. I think that our bullpen is filled with longer men. We're throwing an opener in there for our 5th starter, which, we'd have a little bit of fun with it. Just because starting pitching is kind of hard to come by this year. Mm-hmm. Really good starting pitching.
Yeah.
All right, moving on, Lyle. Take on the questions for us, Petra and Caleb.
Boy, this team, I tell you what, this team is stupid. This team is insane. And this team has next to no water remaining. So, top players for me, it's actually really hard. Obviously, Trevor Bauer. That card is ridiculous. It is the devil himself, considering his WAR A is 6.66, which we find very funny.
Someone ping Val.
But then I guess my next nods go to a guy like Jared Walsh, who's really good. Got him in a trade post-expansion draft. Definitely has a lot of pop, plays a half-decent first base. Like the guys that you would think like the top, they're not super great, but obviously you have guys like the DH essentially guys of Jesse Winker and Marcelo Ozuna, though I think Ozuna is a bit better, even though his defense is atrocious. But it's really hard to pick a top 3 from a team that is loaded like that.
Sure.
And if I were to, if we were to nitpick the team, I think the only real, quote unquote weaknesses on the team is pitching, but that would even be kind of, stretching it with some of the guys
The
they
starting
have.
rotation, I find, is a bit on the weaker end.
Yeah, that I should have been more, because they do have a lot of good bullpen arms and a lot of good bullpen, like value bullpen arms, like Sean Reed Foley, Zach Britton, I believe Taylor Ward has a pretty solid card as well. So they're not Taylor Ward. What am I saying? That's a right fielder. Alex Reyes. So yeah.
All right, and next we have my team, the Wichita Wonder Wolves. Talk about next to no WAR value left. I have 0.04 left. I used up as most as I could. I might go through 3 players that I think are the top of my team that are from the draft itself. I think one is clear-cut Salvador Perez. Possibly, he is the best hitting card and defensive card. He also gets a nice jump as well. He's probably my number one. I'd probably have to argue that my next best pick would have been Rowdy Tellez. He's worth 2.60 WAR. And I just think having that awesome 1 column, especially late in the 1 column, and also a decent 2 helps. And then I'll go with a man who's also my closer. And I'll say it's out of Edwin Diaz or David Peralta for my third best player from the draft. So yeah.
Prepare for many heart attacks with Edwin Diaz being your your closer there. But Tellez was a fantasy superstar for me in 2020. So
good at
man hit jacks.
Yeah, he does hit jacks. Anyways, moving on to the Zephyr. Who wants to take it?
I'll talk to Zephyr. Obviously they have a very similar built team to Diego. Going over to their probably top 3 players, I'll go obviously Freddie Freeman has an amazing card. Randy Arozarena, another really good player for him. He had a broken season, and I'd love to see that postseason card too at some point, if that was just his regular season card. And I'll probably go his third best is Devin Williams, just because of how broken that card is, that it can go 2 innings and close and not allow anything versus right-handed batters. It's just absurd to me.
No argument there. Those 2 long relievers, Devin Williams and Cesar Valdez. Very good. Good at ball.
Yeah. You're not going to find a lot better than those 2 guys coming in the bullpen. All right. Well, moving on here, we will go to the NL West. Wait, we got everyone right. Yes, we did. Okay, sorry. Going to the NL West, we'll start with the Bandit. Or actually, no, just kidding. A before B, Jack. We'll go with the Angels first. And Derek, would you like to talk about this team?
It sucks. It's terrible. This team sucks. You look at it top down. This team is like, who the heck is this guy? Is this Brandon Belt, ranks righties or something? I don't know. Jose Iglesias, probably the argument for the best shortstop in the set. This team, I jest. This team I really like. I think that it wouldn't be a Ryan team without having some high injury pitchers. Luckily, they're in the bullpen this time, so it won't hurt as much as his 2 and 3 or 1 and 2 or whatever the starters going down in the middle of the season. And he's got some good ones to back up in in his minor leagues. I really like this team. I think that it can hit, which has always been a problem for Ryan.
Yeah, I will second that. He put up 9 in a preseason game, so yeah, it can hit.
Yeah, I would go out and say he arguably had one of the better drafts out of the whole league, just top to bottom. Don't really see a lot of holes anywhere.
All right, Lyle, you wanna take the Bandits?
Yeah, absolutely.
Your so and so rival.
Yeah. So the Bandits are also one of those teams that is extremely top heavy. There's a lot of teams that have 0 war players. For me, their top teams definitely. You got to throw Brent Rooker in there just because he costs absolutely nothing, and that card hits a lot. Um, Ian Anderson is an insane card. Like definitely an ace to be feared in the division. And then for me, I'd say probably Tony Gonsolin. That starter 5 relief 3 rating is really helpful, and I feel like this kid's gonna be a bandit for a while. But you could definitely make a case for the cracked versus right-hander Yomar Sanchez, or again the cracked versus right-hander Andrew Stevenson. So pitch left-handers against Reed is all I'm saying.
I think we saw.
Definitely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but definitely Rooker, Anderson, and Gonsolin for me as their top.
Yeah, I was going to bring up. I think we saw some like statistic or whatever, like the war cost of his right-handed lineup compared to his left-handed lineup, and you see the such a high cost for righties, and then you see his lefty lineup cost almost next to nothing. So it'll be interesting to see how that stream platoons work out for the Bandits this season. All right. Moving on here. Lyle, actually, we'll rain on you again since we're coming up on your team here. Why don't we dive into the Snow Geese this season? Top 3 players.
I mean, we're a little bit ahead of there, but if we're going by the website.
Oh, true.
Bovines are next, you fool.
No, I guess
come
I guess
on,
the Bovines are there.
Jack.
Right. We'll just get
Jack, why don't you take the Bovines?
There are 2 teams ahead of me, but
we'll take. All right, Jack, you take the Bovines. I'll take the Meese. How about that?
All right. Going over the Bovines, obviously they are, a very home run reliant team. They love their bullpen, and they love their Brewers. So going top 3, I would obviously put Corbin Burn up there, having the 5.3 rating, and being almost untouchable versus righties, and still insanely good against lefties. Next, I'll go with Sam Huff, their catcher, who a straight home run on a 7 against lefties. I think that's all that needs to be said about that. And if I had to pick a third one, I would probably have to go with DJ LeMahieu. And he's been, for the past, this will be the 3rd season now, has been one of the centerpieces for the Bovines. And excited to see him continue to put up the success he's had.
All right, I'll move on to the Moose, the Yukon Moose, or the Meese we like to say. I mean, going through, I found this team very interesting. I think their power bats match kind of what's going on in this team. They're just trying to slap the ball over the park and kill you in the power positions. As far as top 3, I'd probably say, even though McNeil, or what's his name? Jeff McNeil, what do they call him?
Neil McJeff.
Neil McJeff. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Probably up there for his cost. You look at, of course, Jose Abreu, Brad Keller, I thought was not a bad pick, even though he is not as reliable against lefties. Who else am I missing? I think their bullpen's solidly scary as well. Like you get into late games against them, they have a plethora of options just to throw at you, whether it's Victor Gonzalez, Aaron Bummer, just these guys that they can just pick up against their starting pitchers. So it's going to be very much you got to score against their starting pitchers and hope that they don't shut you down with their bullpen.
I think we got to mention AJ Pollock versus lefties.
Oh yeah, AJ Pollock versus lefties.
That card is stupid.
Agreed. Just all of the home runs.
Home runs.
All right, and I believe now we go to you, Lyle, with the snow geese.
Yep.
Finally, Jack gets his life in order.
Yeah. I think the top three are pretty obvious on my team. I got my boys Mike Yastrzemski, and Michael Conforto that I pulled over from last season, and then I traded for Kenta Maeda, my main homer pick. Being a Twins fan, I love Maeda. That card is amazing for that cost. But no, like, definitely want to recognize like guys like Nick Madrigal versus righties, Ryan Mountcastle in general, just because the dude just getting hit. Lourdes Gurriel is a really cost-effective card, and then Jamer Candelario as well. Definitely going to be holding it down on the hot corner for me. So.
I will say this for Cal. Oh no, I'm sorry. For the Ryan Mountcastle. No.
Yeah, I agree. I Lourdes Gurriel probably was one of my favorite cards. I was hoping he would come available during the draft time so I could scoop him up, but he's going to be very good at ball for you. And the bullpen is very, very good to complement the starting pitching with Walker, Maeda, and others. So, yeah. Derek, you want to round us up here with the unicorns?
Talk about the Glasgow unicorn. Sure, I can. Their keeper lineup is crazy good. The Drakkar came into this season, changing to the unicorns with, I think Plesac. I think you got to throw Nola in there and Jose Ramirez. Plesac getting the benefit of being the only good starter 7. And you got Jose Ramirez who rakes against lefties with auto jump and they good at ball. And you've got Nola, who another one going to be there in contention for Cy Young for sure. Card can strike out righties, strike out both sides. To be honest, he's better against righties, so good team.
Good at ball.
Well, we will move on to our final segment. This will pretty much be the season 4 projections, but we'll call it hot or not. We'll pick our favorite team, but also we'll go through who we think is going to win each division, last place finishers for each division, and then kind of who you think is going to win the World Series. So we'll start with we'll go with Jack. Why not?
Oof. All right, so are we going division by division or just like hot takes? We'll go hot takes.
We'll go division winners first, then final place in each division, and then World Series winners, and pick one team that you just love.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start off with Beast of the East. This one's tough because there are a lot of good teams in this division. I'll say the Black Diamonds are gonna win. I think they have a deep enough team to hold down the top of the division. Although I do think the Jaguars will be breathing down their neck for a majority of the season. And last place, I will put myself, the Flamingos. I don't think, obviously not having the draft capital, since we went all in last season, and we have to pay for it this season, and not being able to compete with some of the top heads here. Moving on to the Dinner Central, This one also close with, the couple teams on top. I'm going to say the Zephyr are the favorites right now to win that division. And I just think that bullpen games are going to be, way too much. And I think Diego will be, looming around. And the last place, I don't. So I think for this team, I think there could be a couple ones that could be, not bottom of the barrel, obviously, but kind of just like middle of the pack. I'm gonna say the Drillers for now, but I could see a couple other teams moving up and down in the rankings as well. And for the NL West, I think everyone can agree that this is just a shit show, and no one knows what the fuck is going on. Uh, I'll probably say the Angels are gonna win. Ooh, Ryan, that's a lot of confidence I'm putting in you there, bud. And last place, I don't even know. I'm going to say the Moose or the Meese for right now, but again, if the Meese won the division and the Angels came in last, I wouldn't be surprised.
All right. Wait, who's your World Series winner?
Ooh, World Series winner, huh? I'm gonna say this is Fox's year. I'm gonna go with the Zephyr. I think they built their team pretty good. Good offense to complement the amazing bullpen. Yeah, I'll say the Zephyr.
All right. Anyone want to take the second go at it, or will it be me?
You can go.
All right.
For it,
I
Plack.
guess all right. Starting off with the Beast of the East, I will probably go with the Black Diamonds as well, even though I do think as well the Jaguars or the Kaiju, despite being very top heavy in my opinion, will be close in second and third. Maybe with the Blackbears, competing late in the season. But in the last place, I think it will be Jack. I'm sorry, Jack. Losing that draft capital has kind of hurt you. And Dinger Central, I will probably go. I'll go with the bold take, even though it's not with Myler take, but I'll go with Diego and Los Muertos de Monterrey. And for last place, based off of preseason, I will put myself, even though I don't think I'll perform that well. I think there's 3 teams that really could possibly finish in last place. With the NL West, yes, it is kind of a mess. I'm going to put some trust in Ryan as well this year, and I do think the final last place will be the Mies as well. As for World Series, I could see a lot of teams, from the NL West, especially competing heavy into the playoffs. This might be a division where, to be honest, all 4 teams can sneak in. But I'm gonna say it's the Angels versus the Bandits, and I will give the win to the Angels as well. Not only the division win, but the World Series win to Ryan, and expect him to win that. So yeah.
Good lord.
We're just cursing everyone.
Yeah.
All right, I can take this. For the East, I have to go with Jaguars rotation. I see where you're coming from with Val, but she doesn't get to play every single game at home. And I think that there are teams that can go into Burlington, I think is where it is, and perform. I think that Burner's team's just too good to leave there. And last place, I won't say it, but we know who it is. One of the hosts. That's all I'll say. For the Central, I'm gonna have to. This is tough. The top. This team this division is really tough because there are 3 teams that I think are really, really good, and there's 3 teams that I think aren't bad. but there's just like I find it hard to see who's going to compete with um, all three of them. I think that they're going to kill each other, but I think at the end of the day, I probably have to go with the Questons. That I mean, all the draft got they went full tank last year, and I think that they have a scary team. Maybe a little shaky 4 and 5 starters, but that offense, I think that offense will be able to back it up. Last place, I'm. This is tough. I am probably going to have to go with the Wonderwolves. Um, I just think that this division is going to be tough because of how top heavy it is. Um, for the West, I don't like saying this because it's going to go to his head. But I'm going to have to throw the Angels up there. That offense is good. Pitching is good. And I I don't like that I'm having to say this, but I think that the Angels are got to got to take home that top slot. As the scariest with like every team being like slightly below, just also slightly, all barely, just because of how good each of the teams are. And for me, I'd probably put the last team I'd probably put is going to be the Bovines. That home run, they clearly love the home run. But I think that it's not going to play everywhere. And there's a couple pitcher friendly parks there in the West. And I think that they'll score a lot of runs, but I'm not sure that they'll be able to just cut it. For World Series, I would probably have to go with, especially with the World Series and playoff rest, I'm going with the Jaguars, I think, as my World Series winners.
I like it. I like it.
And Lyle.
All right. So starting things off, piece of the East, it's definitely, I'd say probably the second most competitive division. I think as good as Berna's team is, he's going to squander it like he always does. Probably lose out in a extra game once again and miss the playoffs entirely because that's just what happens. Honestly, like I think, uh, God, it's hard because some of these teams are so bad and some of these teams are so good on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be really close for the top. I think the Kaiju are gonna be the division winner. Um, they just have a solid depth around the entire field, pitching, infield, outfield. Their bullpen is pretty decent. They did make a few slip ups in the draft, but I think that um, they can pull through. Their minor league uh, squad is pretty good, so if somebody does get hurt, they do have proper replacements for them. As far as bottom, it's the Flamingos. Yes, you messed it up in the draft there, bud. But I have a feeling you'll be back sometime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for Dinger Central, I think the Questons are gonna take it. They had just an amazing draft. They really prepared themselves for this season. They said, screw it, after season 2, we're punting season 3 and hoping for season 4. And they have just a solid squad. They're going to be tearing up the rest of the division. Just because some teams did not manage their cap very wisely. At last, I think it's probably going to be the Wonder Wolves. It's just not a fantastic fit being in this division where people are so slap happy. In any other division, I think they would do a lot better. It's just this is the home run hitting division by the names they get last. And unless I want to put myself first, but I know that that's a curse and I will not do it because my team is part of this division, and this division is an utter crapshoot. Winning the division, I think like everybody said, the Angels, they just have the most balanced team. Like, nobody knows what's going on with the Moose's rotation. The Bovines are so top heavy. The Bandits are so top heavy. The Unicorns have war spent in weird spots. And then the Geese are just the most unlucky sons of bitches ever, and will probably finish last for the third season in a row.
I doubt
But
that.
the
I've you slotted second.
Yeah, I saw that. So the Angels, I think, can take it. It's this division is going to hurt itself. I think only the required two are going to come out of this division. Just because we're going to beat the ever loving shit out of each other. Last place, if I had to say, probably the Bandits. They're too top heavy. They're reliant on people throwing right-handed pitchers. I feel like they are going to get devastated, especially by injury, because they have a lot of lot of players with low plate appearances and innings pitched, and that's going to screw them over. I have a feeling it's going to be the whole David Freese thing all over again. So yeah, that's my take.
And World Series champion.
World Series champion. Everybody's like talking about the Angels. They're like one of the more balanced teams, but I think coming out of the wild card spot, the Jakarta Jaguars will finally prove their worth with the Fishman and get him a ring that he will never get IRL.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. This will actually kind of wrap up the show. We will say goodbye to Lyle and Derek. Thank you all for being on the show. If you want to say anything, y'all can. You'll have some time. We'll give you like a minute.
Wow, just a minute. Well, I want to say that Ryan sucks. I want to say that I'm only buffing you up because I want to see you fail harder this year than you have later. Um, I'm excited for this season, the first one that I drafted. I know there were some errors that I made, me and Joe made for sure. But I think that we turned it around. I really like our draft, and I'm really excited to see where this season takes us. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
and Lyle, your turn.
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to come onto the pod. I'm really hoping to not finish last for the third season in a row. I think we have a really good team. Jay-Z sucks.
True.
Cal sucks.
True.
And yeah, it'll be a fun season. I'm really excited to get started. I've been doing scrims against the worst team in SBA history, so see how that turns out.
Well, thank you all for being on. Jack, do you have anything to say before we go and wrap this up?
No. Always a pleasure talking to y'all.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all listeners for listening to the podcast. That will rip off. Yes. That will
Yeah, we ripped
officially
off their
conclude.
time.
Yeah, ripped off their time. That will officially conclude the second episode of the Jack and Plack Show. We just thank y'all for joining and hearing us talk about Stratomatic baseball and some other fun topics that we had on docket tonight. So yeah, thank y'all and peace.